Exactly as predicted. Welcome back to Krown's Prediction Cave, of which we have plenty to talk about today, following up on yesterday's short-term, medium-term time frame analysis. Bitcoin hitting all of the notes in the not-so-distant past. So now, what does that lead us up into today? Well, actually, a lot of opportunities coming on up. And with that said, I would like to wish you the best and the happiest as we head on into this nice hump day. Is it a hump day? I think it is a hump day. Yeah, it is a hump day. It's Tuesday. No, it's Wednesday. That's hump day. Yeah, there you go. It's Wednesday, the 10th of February. And what do we have over here in the Krown Chain application, which by the way can be found at app.krownchain.net and is 100% free. So take advantage of it, sir. Please do. I invite you to, or don't if you don't want to. Anyways, looking at Bitcoin dominance, still kind of holding that range of which we did see it pop up all the way to about 62.5% when Bitcoin popped up to its major rally just about a day and a half ago now. So what does that imply within the current narrative of Bitcoin's price structure? Well, Bitcoin in the short-term timeframes has been in a bit of a range. So what do we see? Bitcoin dominance coming back down, alt essentially catching up, and again, rotations as Bitcoin rolls onwards and forwards. And what would I expect if Bitcoin does take another leg up, perhaps in this next day, perhaps in this next 24-hour session? Well, I'd expect altcoins to not be the main beneficiaries of that versus their Bitcoin Satoshi parent, of course, versus their US dollar parent. Very, very likely they do get to fall through as well. Fear and greed index also up at a 92. We are greedy as fuck, as you should be when Bitcoin goes from about 10,000 to, well, I mean, I don't really see much difference between this number and about a $50,000 number. So there you go for the last 5-6 months. And with that in mind, that would lead us into the open interest, of which we did see it come all the way up to about 7.5 billion yesterday after the big old pumpy pump. And within the context of the current price structure, moving on into the market data tab over here, that is not just met with new all-time highs on open interest. Holy shit, that keyboard's loud. Sorry, I have to give my girlfriend some shit. But yeah, so looking at this over here, this does essentially imply that the rally is real, the rally is efficacious, the rally is very likely to get follow through, and this is also further supported by, well, price structure, trend, and then of course volumes and interest as well. So with all that in mind, things are still looking more or less good for further continuation just based off of our underlying market dynamics here. And if we do check out the interest rates, which I do want to keep an eye on right now too, yes, so this is exactly what I was talking about yesterday, exactly as predicted. Sorry for the new people here. Apologies. I know it's fucking obnoxious. That's the point. That's the joke, sir. That's the fucking joke. It's not very funny. Like most things on your net, not very funny actually. Anyways, FTX, Bybit, and Binance actually all above the 0.1% threshold. But those are the only 3 exchanges right now. So I want to see this going on for like another half day to a day. And if that does happen, I actually would be looking for a bit of a short-term, medium-term pullback within this region. But as it is right now, I think that we're going to see this spike down actually, because these have come off significantly from their reads yesterday, of which we even saw FTX, I believe it was above 0.35%, I think it was. Extremely high. Some of the highest reads I've actually ever seen since looking at this data for like the last 3-4 years. Anyways, Binance still way out there too, but my point is that they're coming down rather aggressively. So I'd give it another 12 to 24 hours. And if they're still like this, then yes, perhaps looking at a short-term, medium-term pullback here. But for now, when we go into the price action, or especially on the lower-term timeframes, well, kind of spoiled surprise. I don't think that's it's not really what it looks like right now. Not really what it looks like at all, in fact. Anyways, into the price structure we go, and start off with our long-term charts over here on Bitcoin. We did get the critical closure on the Tutor that we spoke about yesterday above the topside triangle band, and essentially that does sit on my buys today for yes, a pullback, but at the same time that pullback very likely turns into an opportunity. Of course, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a financial derper. And in this case right here, I would be looking for a retest somewhere around anywhere between about $44,000 and $45,000, wherever the topside triangle band is, which is actually right smack dab in the middle of those two numbers at 45,000 we could say. And with that in mind, we do see that the next tick on a momentum oscillator is looking pretty damn good here as well. So this is the signature that I was talking about yesterday that I really wanted to see for further continuation as well. Big one as we do see the 2-day getting the momentous cross the upside on MACD histogram. MACD histogram increasing as well, but just the bullish cross right there in general is pretty damn good. On top of that, ADX DMI continuing with the up. The ADX is absolutely fucking vertical right there. DMI plus very much dominant above the threshold, and we do see that price action close above the topside triangle band. All these things working together, I would say that very likely does suggest that over the next 24 to 48 hours, we will very likely see continuation to the upside in this case. And with that in mind, what would the next targeted regions be? Well, remember that the measure move off of this as a cup and handle right here would be a little bit north of about 51,000 bucks, and that is also confluent with the 2-spot extension as well. So I do like that area actually, and I would be saying, I suppose, that I'd be looking for Bitcoin to go to $50,000 plus. Now, with that in mind, as I've been saying for a long time, and as I've been saying, well, over like the last few years, I almost never see reversals at the 2-spot extension, and I can't even recall a time where I've seen it in cryptocurrency land specifically. That is. Now, what you typically see is a shot up to the 414, the 618 in cases like this, which is all the way up at 58,000 bucks. But in very aggressive markets, a lot of the time you will see wicks up to the 3 spot. So I'd actually be looking at a range between about 58,000 and 62,000 bucks on this as a whole, with areas of interest all along the way at these major fib extensions. So that'd be about 51,000 bucks, 50, well, let's just call it 55 right here, and then yes, 58 and 62 in a bit of a range. So with all of that in mind, I do still like the way that this is going. Bitcoin wants to have a little bit of a short-term downside pullback to about 44 or 45,000 bucks. I think that's completely normal, completely reasonable. It's not that you need to reason with price action, but very much within the ebb and the flow of this market. And I would be looking at that again as an opportunity. Looking at the 3-day right here, I don't believe that we close this one tonight. Let me just double check though. Yeah, it does not close tonight. It closes tomorrow night. But again, same sort of setup here that we confirmed, I believe it was yesterday on the prior closure, where it closed above the top side trailing band. We do see that the ADX DMI has a very similar signature right here, and 3-day MACD also doing the same thing as well. So the 2-day doing that was more or less of a formality yesterday, but it's good that we have confluence here. And of course, you want to see all these time frames kind of operating together. Daily's going to be doing the same shit as well, and the daily's actually already kind of come back down and retested that region. So I would say that it would also be reasonable to look at the lower term time frames and potentially go over scenarios of where I'd be looking for more immediate continuation off our current low, which actually was about was around about 45,000 bucks for yesterday. As far as all of our oscillators here go, basically the same reads. I need to take a sip of this water, man, because I am goddamn thirsty right now. Apologies about this. Very unprofessional, but uno momento. Oh, all right. That's some more predictive powers right there. Just drink it all down, suck it all in. But yes, remember the daily MACD actually really did get a good call over here. I should denote. Should highlight again, following up for the people who have been watching these videos for months on end. Understand that when we're looking at a somewhat higher time frame like this, it does take us time to produce its movement. And as you can see, we got our bullish MACD cross way the fuck on over here. That of course in and of itself is not good enough. What we want to see is it take out the 20 simple in this case, or if you're looking at price structure, you would have just seen that 34,500 is a nice pivot point for the accumulation zone on the bottom side. Those were taken out both on the same tick, as it should be. Good confluence alongside a nice signal on the DMI ADX, and then boom, massive move to the upside. Basically already getting more than a $10,000 move from signal given to where price action is right now. In fact, more than that, actually $12,000 move with potential, 13 or yeah, I mean, not bad, not bad at all. Anyways, let's go over and check out our lower term timeframes. Let me just make sure that I've gotten everything right here. Yeah, weekly's gonna have a chance to do the same thing, but obviously gonna take a little bit of time as the weekday doesn't close today or tomorrow. It closes on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Anyways, over here into the lower term timeframes, Bitcoin looking like it's kind of slinking down a little bit. Now, I did say that based off the daily, it is possible that we actually could have already seen the low within this region right here. So what I would be looking for, if this area is really going to try to reverse off this region or reaccumulate and produce that continuation move towards that $50,000 target and beyond, then what I'd be looking for is some sort of hidden bullish divergence signature coming off the low right here. Sorry, this is on an hourly, by the way, and we did get a jewel sell signal on the hourly. Now, it's jewel sell signal on the hourly. It's not like super damning, but let's go to the 4 hour time frame. That maybe matters like slightly more. And what do we see right here? 4 hour RSI actually giving me a little bit of bearish divergence in this current structure. No hidden bullish divergence is going to be possible within this because we don't even have enough dildos to kind of analyze right there. 4 hour Stokes, what are we looking at? 45,300, the magical number to remain in upside posturing, but it does look like the histogram is going to be decreasing. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going to be decreasing no matter what, so it's going to be very, 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 very close there on the next tick. Currently about $1,000 above, but that is about a sneeze for Bitcoin at this level when it's trading at $46,000. $40,000 total. 4-hour, sorry, we already looked at 4-hour RSI. So yeah, actually both of these suggesting we probably do see a little bit more of a pullback here. 21x benchmark average would be a nice and obvious target. And where is that? Oh, that's strange. Right around $44,000. So I'd be at the bottom edge of the range that I'm kind of suggesting for Bitcoin in the short term here. 3-hour, very, very similar. We do see 3-hour Stokes doing the same thing. 47,100, the magical number, and crossing down freshly right here. 3-hour RSI already confirmed that divergence. So not looking too hot right there, but more importantly, where would my natural target be? Somewhere down around the 21, which is where 44.5. So so we're starting to come up with that range once again. I'm just gonna go in and say that it's already between about 44 and 45,000 bucks right here, basically between these two horizontals, which by the way did denote, if I can pull this baby out, when in doubt, pull it out. We got the 272 and the and the 414 overlay within these regions. So I do like the confluence there. These are based off of algo targets essentially. And if Bitcoin does come back down around there, which you could already argue that Bitcoin has, as we did see that spike down yesterday, then that would be your next sort of opportunity area. But for now, the thing is that the lower term timeframes, I really haven't seen enough like actual just time transpire here for me to even kind of look at what I typically would look at, because what I want to see coming out of an area like this is some sort of hidden bullish divergence. That's usually going to be your continuation call after your reaccumulation, after like a very short form of reaccumulation on the lower term timeframes, which we barely even have enough history here on the buy hourly. But would it be present if Bitcoin does put in a higher low right here, meaning that we do see a stop and reverse point literally where we're at right now? So now we're getting a little bit too experimental for this. So I want to be very, 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 very clear with this. Make sure that this is, fucking down pat. How would you confirm this is a local low right here? Kind of difficult in this case because it's not super obvious, but I would say a closure above 46,750 would very likely do it for me. A little bit more of a conservative way would be 46,850 on this little status step right here. Any sort of a closure above that region wouldn't even be a higher low. So no, this is not even appropriate to begin with. Apologies on that. That's actually completely all wrong. It's not even possible in its current posture to begin with. So fair enough. I guess if I did have to call it right now, I would be looking for Bitcoin to have another wick lower probably. The hourly is the only one that does have potential hidden bullish divergence in play. We do see that hourly RSI is making significantly lower lows right here, actually, and has a nice 1, 2, 3 potential in the line. But of course, just like we looked at it on the buy hourly, needs to confirm a local low pretty much right here. It cannot take out this low right here. Otherwise, that will obviously destroy the hourly trend. And more importantly, if that were to happen, then yes, I would be looking for a move back up towards the prior high of this run, 48,250, and very likely a breakout produced upon that, and that leads us up into the $50,000 plus region. I mean, you can just look at this consolidation right here. You can see it's about a $3,000 range. If you are going to put in a higher low right here, what's going to start to look like an ascending triangle? If you have a measure move on that, it's going to be about the range there, so about $3,000. And what do you know? That leads you to about $51,000, which is that next major fib and algo target. So looking at this right here, how would you confirm this as a local low? Confirmed as a local low with any sort of a closure above 46,600 on the hourly. I really don't like using hourlies for the most part in cryptocurrency land, but when markets are trending, they actually do seem to be the lowest time frame that actually works rather well, funnily enough. Momentum also is all pointed southwards right now. 48,200 is the magical number right there. And hourly RSI, what do we see right here? We actually already just went over that. And historical volatility percentile, by the way, very, 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 very low here. So we do have a likelihood of a move in the short term today, actually. Here's that similar on the 4 hours. Well, no, the 4 hours actually just starting to contract. See what the buy hourly is looking like right here. Yeah, same thing as the hourly, so contracted fully all the way. So I'd say that the 4 hours is actually a little bit too much of a lagging time frame right now for the short-term time frame consolidations. I want to be looking at the hourly and 2 hour, and then both of those would suggest that we do see a move probably today, actually. So with all that in mind, if I kind of had to wrap up my thoughts, do I think Bitcoin has a little bit of a try lower? Maybe swipes anywhere between, let's just call it 44,500 or 44,500. And that, perhaps yes. My main disposition, though, is I'd be looking at that as an opportunity. Very rarely do you see in Bitcoin land, or really any major asset for that matter, or at least in my experience, I should say, very rarely do you see, or I'm trying to think of a time on Bitcoin where I've seen this, but basically you have a big move, like a 20% move right here, that does not get follow through from like the same breakout. That's what I mean. So in this case right here, here's your breakout right here. And then obviously after that, you want to see more and more, but it's like fucking obviously Krown. Sorry, let me explain my point. Apologies. I know that that's like remedial bullshit. But basically, you see a big move out of your range right here, and then it gets continuation. Obviously, like it doesn't need to always be like this, but I need to find a better example right here. Same thing, big breakout out of the range, continuation. Big breakout out of the range here from 9,000 to 10,000, continuation, even though that rally did get dumped afterwards. But my point is the first big breakout is always followed through with at least a little bit more, Same thing over here on the breakout above the 200 simple and 200 exponential average, about $8,000. Same shit. What do we have before that? Even the failed China pump rally, gets that first girthy green dildo on the daily right here. Even that gets a little bit of follow through too. So my point is, and the point that I'm trying to paint right now is that when you do see a pretty massive move like that, we're talking, 15 to 20%, of which the last one was about 20% move from top to bottom. Almost always we do see continuation. Again, I really can't find an example where that's actually not even the case. This one over here, here's your breakout right here, takes 2 days, kind of goes sideways, and then boom, massive move up. Same thing over here. Here's a big breakout, massive move up afterwards. Here's same thing, big massive move, and then consolidation, boom, try again, same shit. So my point is that looking at this move over here, which again is actually one of the biggest single day moves in Bitcoin's history, both percentage wise and obviously price action wise, this is a 22.25% move. So is it more or less likely to get continuation? Again, kind of combine it with what we looked at the beginning of this video, especially with all the secondary chart indicators. I'd say yes, very, very likely. So I don't think that is going to be like, pop up here, come back down and do something like that. I think that's rather unlikely. It's a lot more likely that Bitcoin plays out a short form consolidation on the lower time frames that we're seeing right now, and then tries again for another leg up. If we go into, okay, we've pretty much gone over all the lower term time frames. I mean, and it is still very much possible that we actually do see the hourly get this one. The hourly is the one that's actually saying, hey, probably does move up from here right now, as you do see that it's trying to put in a higher low as of the current moment in time. But I'd really like to see this on like a 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour all together to make me a little bit more confident. But in these faster markets, can an hourly work well? Yes, it can actually. Anyways, moving on to the medium term time frames, 12 hour, what do we see right here? 12 hour momentum still remaining to the upside as long as about 42,500, so nice one. 12 hour RSI still very constructive here. Probably would be looking for a pullback down to the exponential at some point, but again, I would be looking at that as an opportunity. The last like 6 months, yeah, no, not even the last 6 months. The last year, going all the way back to February, is just an incredibly constructive read. So I really do like that. I would be looking at that again as an opportunity. Same thing on the daily here too. Even better, even for longer, going all the way back to April 2019. Extremely constructive reads and producing a lot of higher lows on the in that RSI neutral zone right here, which I really like as well. You can see all the ones going back from the coronavirus dump. And more importantly with this, again, would I be looking for it to ultimately reach towards the edge of the bullish control zone, even the critical zone? Yes, but short term, do we have a little bit of a pullback here and test the exponential? Maybe soon, yes, but all momentum also is still pointed northwards. So what does that tell me? It tells me that that would be very likely an opportunity. Again, daily right here, magical number 33,250, looking good. Daily RSI, we already went over that, looking really fucking good right there. And HVP is going to obviously be redlining, so I would be looking for the HVP to start to back off when Bitcoin starts to kind of get around its next local high, actually, as we are in that full-on price discovery rally mode. And typically what you do see is that markets actually make their high on low volatility a lot of the time, contrary to a lot of like popular notions, which is rather interesting. But usually it's just kind of, stair steps up, and produces, kind of lulls everyone into a false confidence as well. Number only go up. And then what happens when people start selling, then your volatility, on your higher term time frames typically starts to, really boost up. And why is that? Well, that's likely because people start to panic a little bit more. They start to make a little bit more erratic decisions, and that produces a little bit more erratic price action. Of course, fear is a very powerful emotion now, isn't it? Anyways, moving on to the 2-day, what do we see right here? Same shit, very, very good. All higher term time frames are bullish. all higher term time frames are bullish. I mean, we're still seeing that hidden bullish divergence play out from the 3-day and the 2-day that we identified, even I think like a couple of weeks ago now, coming out of this base right here. Again, following up for the people, especially in the program who want to see like divergence in real time. This is it. I mean, that is a 2-day and 3-day call coming out of this base over here. This was again in the last week of January. We are now into the second week of February, so it takes its time. But as you can see, can you be a little bit patient when you're about to get a $10,000 move or more over the course of the next 2 weeks? Well, maybe trading's not for you if that's not the case. No, of course not. I mean, at the end of the day, everyone can trade different styles. I mean, people can trade the fucking second chart, the tech chart on Bitcoin and make shit tons of money. Is that for me? No, but I would never tell someone not to do that. It's just I would not have very good experience doing that. I imagine that anyone not trading like not doing like some sort of high frequency trading is not going to have the best time doing that sort of style either. You're going to be competing against people who have a lot more access to resources than you do in that case. But you can find your edges elsewhere, of course. Anyways, that's just personal experience. Going over to the weekly over here, still looking good. Actually looking like almost cross again to the upside. Weekly RSI, very, very good as well, back above the exponential. I mean, all of this is looking good for another drive of continuation. And again, I'd be looking for the weekly to kind of trend up into the next major high as well. Anyways, moving on, what do we see with let's go check out Mr. Buterol really quickly. How are you doing, sir? How are you today? I imagine still following the general party because you are no longer leading, you are now following, but still $2,000 is the target for, at least for myself. Still kind of making its way towards there. I don't see anything that tells me that this is not going to get hit for right now. And in fact, I'd even go as far as saying that not only is that not going to get hit, or sorry, not only is that very likely to get hit, but it's very likely to be too it's likely to be too bearish, sir. Is what it's likely to be. A lot more likely to sing guns for like 23 to 25,000, or sorry, 2,300 to 2,500 bucks. As you can see, just based off these areas right here, I don't really see anything that's too damning as far as this goes. And of course, remember when Bitcoin broke its prior all-time high right here, we saw some very, very similar price structure. You see that Ethereum goes sideways for 1, 2, 3 weeks, breaks out on the 4th, and then boom, massive girthy green dildo parties. Well, same thing on Bitcoin when it was below its prior $20,000 high right here. Very, very similar actually, even in structure. 1, 2, 3 sideways, boom, girthy green dildo party initiated, and off to the heavens we go. For more than a 2x from that point, by the way. Now, entering into 2.5x territory and maybe even 3x territory at some point. My point is that with Ethereum, I'd be looking for it to likely follow those footsteps. Something around those lines. Something around those lines would be about right. Going over here to the daily on the short-term time frames, this is very obvious continuation. This thing is very likely to make new all-time highs today, exactly as predicted, and I'd be looking for this one to probably even gun for $2,000 today, actually. So there, I said it. What about Ethereum Bitcoin? Looking good for some short-term bounce action. Probably does pop back up towards north of 4.1 million. Looking at the weekly, less problematic than what it was yesterday, so hopefully it pulls through for the rest of the altcoin market. But I don't really want to spend too much time looking at altcoins today. I want to be looking at NASDAQ futures. Do we have new all-time highs? Oh, I think we have new all-time highs. That's crazy. Exactly as predicted once again. Exactly as predicted. Fucking hell, man. Sorry. It's getting to me, man. Going crazy over here. Looking good over here for further continuation. Again, next target that I have in mind would be one that we've actually almost hit, but this one was from such a long time ago. Just kind of nice to look at. 13,825 is where I'd be looking towards. Probably does play out of a short-term pullback from that region, and then from that region, I'd be looking for a consolidation to occur on the short and medium term timeframes, and $15,000 would be my next target after that, just based off of algos and fibs. Looking at weekly RSI, this one is looking really fucking good here, very, very dominant within the bullish control zone, and weekly momentum oscillators all sustained north as well, as long as above 13,100 basically, so looking rather likely right now. Of course, crazy things have happened, but if I did a call right now, I'd be looking for a continuation on NASDAQ futures and SPY futures, and isn't that weird? Isn't that strange? strange how all these things seem to move together. It's weird how Bitcoin is bullish with traditional markets and vice versa, along with just about everything else within this world. The reason why that is likely because of our arbitrage opportunity and also, well, weakness in the dollar too would be a contributing factor. Looking at the weekly right here for SPY futures, basically same chart, literally same fucking chart. Pretty much have already hit our next major target, the 2.618 at 39.25. After that, be looking for a little bit of a short-term pullback here. Well, probably not. Looking at the 4-hour, this one looks like continuation. This one looks like it's ready to rock and roll today. I would not be surprised to see this thing make a move for $4,000 over the next few days. This is looking very good. This is looking quite good, you might say. That's my technical analysis for this guy. Oh, by the way, I should check out Caretaker's SEC over here. I'm curious what this one's looking like right here. Okay, very interesting. All right, so he showed, yeah, and exactly. Okay, perfect. So we have good confluence here. Thank the Lord for that. Save this one for the TA nerd session as well. Basically 44,850. The level to the downside does still kind of hold the higher lows for now, and then more importantly break out above about 48,000 bucks. This is, by the way, only relevant for an hourly, but as you can see right here, with volatility lining up with our reads right here, it would suggest that this next sort of move, in the way that all these Trollender bands kind of collapsing on price action right here, is very likely to produce an actual, breakout. And as you can also see, this is starting to really get confirmed. Well, maybe not really get confirmed. Let's go back down over here. But it looks like it is very close to being confirmed. Yes, very, very close to being confirmed as hidden bullish divergence. Just needs to close basically here. Basically here or higher looks good to me. 46,600 would be damn good. We got another 45 minutes till the end of the hourly, so by the time that I post this video, we will have clarity on the situation. So all of this is getting there, very, very close, but still like to see confirmation. If that happens, I'd have a target towards, a little bit north of $48,000, and that can lead to the next breakout or continuation drive towards 50,000 plus. Let's see, this video is already 26 minutes long. I think it's going to be a good time for me to start to wrap this bitch up too. All right, cool. Let's go back on over here. Well, let's start off with this one right here. Let's wrap this bitch up. Bitcoin on the 2-day did close above the topside Toronto band exactly as predicted yesterday. Sorry, couldn't help myself. And yes, that does suggest that in lower term timeframes, very likely do come back down, test around the topside Toronto band on this time frame, the 2-day and also the daily as well, of which the daily's already done that. And that very likely does provide a nice little opportunity for the next continuation play to the upside to our next major target, somewhere around the 2-spot extension right here, based off of pattern and also fib extension and in algos, which would be just north of $51,000, as you can see right there. So ultimately, in the short-term timeframes, I'm looking for signals of essentially reaccumulation, and all higher-term timeframes are, of course, bullish right now. 3-day, doing the same thing on yesterday's closure, that is. Daily continuing the trend from the last 2-day closures, of course, and all these are supported by momentum oscillators, of which we do see Trollender band, so volatility base, and of course momentum with the MACD crossing up alongside closing above this in an expansive phase. All very good stuff. And DMI ADX getting the directional getting the directional flow correct, as well as we do see the DMI plus very much dominant. ADX is absolutely fucking vertical right there. Into the lower time frames we go over here. It actually is one of those times where I do think using an hourly can work. And if we do see this next hourly close, basically here or higher, above 46,600, this video being recorded at about, 8 a.m. in Helsinki time. And if that does happen, and this confirms as hidden bullish divergence, which will populate a nice, strong, solid blue bar right there, then I'd be having a short-term target back up to not yesterday's high, but the day prior's high, somewhere around a little bit north of $48,000, and that can lead into your continuation drive. Obviously, that would force our momentum oscillators back up over here too, looking damn good on an expansive historical volatility percentile posturing right here as well. Problem is the 4-hour and the other lower term timeframes don't necessarily look as similar, and actually the 4-hour as it is right now and the 3-hour starting to look a little bit more like they actually do have a bit of a stop and reverse point. So I almost would feel confident calling this as your next local low, higher lows on the very low term timeframes, and very likely does play out another move back up towards the top side of the range in the short term. Now, with that in mind, I really wouldn't be judging the higher term timeframe continuation until we get the next, daily and 3-day closure, because 2 days is going to be tomorrow, seeing as we just closed one yesterday night. And so I suppose the daily is going to be the most relevant here. And as long as we're closed above the top side Toronto band, which now it is currently postured at 46,130. I'd essentially be looking for Bitcoin to just kind of glide sideways on the lower term timeframes and then get another leg up over the next few days, very likely to $50,000 and beyond. As I have been saying, the 2-spot extension, very rarely a long-term reversal point, just a short-term reversal point, and ultimately I'd be looking somewhere probably between about $58,000 and $62,000. Now I should overlay some conditions in the lower term timeframes for failure here, and that would be a little bit more difficult. It's not necessarily that it's difficult, it's just that some of these ranges are a bit tight. So on the hourly, if we do take out the last hourly low, this one I'm referring to on the 9th of February at 1400 my time at 45,400, we'll call it. If that area does get taken out by an hourly closure below, I would look for a full-on move all the way down to our 43,750 base right here. That's the big one. That's the obvious one, and that's the one that must hold if Bitcoin's going to remain bullish in all time frames, short, medium, and long, and obviously macro. Obviously, long-term and macro time frames are not going to be as adherent to that level, but certainly the short and medium would be. And if that does happen, I would be looking for another move back down to test around $40,000. Holy shit, that keyboard's so fucking loud. Jesus Christ. I just want to pull out my goddamn hair right now, what's left of it. Yes, as it stands right now, it's actually looking like the lower term time frames want to be picked up right here. So with that in mind, I'm just generally bullish, looking for those targets to be met based off of all of what we spoke about throughout this video. And with that in mind, I think it's time for me to wish you the best and the happiest. Probably Ethereum goes up to $2,000 today as well. And with that said, take care, and until next time.